Hello, I'm Sky Hull with Central Coast News. As announced earlier, the New South Wales government has extended the Greater Sydney lockdown for another week as the state records 27 new cases. The lockdown includes the Central Coast, Blue Mountains, Wollongong and Shell Harbour and will now wrap up at 11:59 p.m. on July 16.
Look, this was a tough decision to make, but a necessary one. As the Premier has articulated, what we don't want to do is to be going backwards and forwards in and out of lockdowns. This is a mechanism where hopefully it will reduce the future of having to do a lockdown for us as a region. I also want to thank all of those people on the Central Coast who haven't hesitated to call Crime Stoppers to report people breaching the health orders, and that needs to continue because, as the Premier has articulated today, we should only be moving around for essential reasons that are articulated in the health orders.
So in a nutshell, for those that have been living, I guess, under a rock, so to speak, what can coasties do and what can't they do?
Yep, obviously shopping for food and essential goods is one of those things you can do. Obviously, if you've got a medical appointment for compassionate reasons, you can absolutely go and do your medical appointment. Also, if you're going to get vaccinated, you can absolutely go and get your vaccine. In fact, we encourage it. Obviously, as long as you haven't waiting on a COVID test result. In addition to this, you can exercise outdoors with up to 10 people, making sure you observe those social distancing rules. So go out and do your exercise, but don't sit around and have a chat afterwards. It's important you do your exercise and then head back home again. And obviously, essential work where you have to leave home is one of the reasons you can go.
Existing restrictions will still apply for regional New South Wales. However, Central Coast students will spend their first week of Term 3 learning remotely.
My advice to parents is not to stress, to just take this in their stride, to use every day as a learning experience for their children. And while it is a bit disappointing for children not to be going back to school when they're looking forward to catching up with their friends, it's only for a short period of time, hopefully, and then we'll have a return to normality. So from this week on the return to school dates, is to keep your children at home, to make sure that they're engaged and there's learning at home. Reassure them this is only a short term and it's happening for all children right across the state. And that'll reassure them to make sure that they're in safe hands at home. But schools are connected. Make sure that if you need to, ring into school and find out what's available for you. First point of contact is always the principal and the school if anyone's concerned. Just want to make a comment about the HSC students that are going through their HSC this year, that the students should not worry because teachers are very well prepared to support them online. There'll be phone calls, there'll be group chats, there'll be other sessions that'll be available for them. We need to know that all students across the state will be in this together, and the NESA board will make sure that any child and any family that's had any complexities or difficulties, that will all be taken into account for their HSC mark. Sadly, though, this school holidays has seen all the HSC support classes cancelled, and children haven't had that opportunity to be in school with their teachers and have that extra tutorial support for their HSC. But that's across the whole state and across the country, so no one will be disadvantaged in their final marks because of that.
And we've been through this before. Obviously, it's no different to what we experienced last year here on the Central Coast with schools.
And schools did an amazing job last time. Look, for those families who didn't have internet connection or devices available at home, schools literally drove around and dropped off resources to families' homes so children could have some schoolwork to do. They rang homes, they stayed connected with families. There was a lot of behind-the-scenes support going on. And then when school resumed, we had the tutorial program and the catch-up tutoring, and that'll be available to make sure that no child misses out or is left behind. So
what about those that aren't classed as, say, essential workers but need to send their kids to school? Are the schools still open?
Certainly. Any parents that have got any concerns or any worries about children being at home or safety issues, just simply ring your school and the resources will be made available to make sure those children are well supported.
But obviously, you know, there's no COVID, but how important is it that we do take these restrictions as a region, you know, because Sydney's only really a stone throw away from the Central Coast, really.
Look, it is. It's only a quick train trip away to the Central Coast, and we've still got essential workers that are commuting by nature of their work, and we need them in our hospitals. we need them in our police stations. And so there's a lot of movement that has to take place. And while there's no known cases at this point for any young children or young families, you don't know what's around the corner, and you don't know until everyone's been tested and we're clear. It's just at the moment, there's no known cases, and I wouldn't want to risk it. I don't think any family would like to risk it. We're better to be sure than sorry. There's no point later going back. And already we've got some people that are in intensive care, and we've got people right around the world that are dying from this. We need to do everything we can to keep everybody safe.